First of the series, Andonovski scores! Right off the face-off, over the glove of Shurygin.
Welcome to the AudPod.
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Justin.
Shots.
Yeah. And if you took them from the point, they probably went past him.
The point was a good place to shoot from.
That seemed
The
like it
49 high danger shots in the low slot were not the weakness.
I know. The closer you are to him, it's like some sort of weird video game boss fight. It's the closer you are to this goalie, the more likely he is to absorb the shot.
Everything.
Yeah. And the further you are away, the more likely you're going to get it past him. It was a strange one, I would say.
It was a strange one. Okay, this was game 3 against Saginaw. The Kitchener-Rangers now lead the series 3-0 after a 4-3 overtime win. Did not expect to see it.
Overtime victory. Yeah,
overtime.
It was,
grunting from Andrew this week. How very nice.
It was one of those games where I think you and I both had moments where we were like, oh, I think they might lose this game. And it wasn't for lack of faith. It was just like something frustrating was happening. And for two different reasons, we were like, this is going to go against us. But they powered through.
The game 1 and game 2, I spent the first 2 periods of both of those games going, I don't know if they can do it. And then they won. And then this game, I spent the first 2 periods going like, oof, this is going to be too easy. And then it almost wasn't.
Yeah, and I really felt like I have a lot. I don't have a lot to say about the first and the third and even the overtime, but the second period I have a lot of notes on. Some of the good things that I will talk about just in general. I saw a lot more dumping and chasing from the Rangers tonight. I think they've made those adjustments that they're not just going to try and carry it along the boards into the zone. And the zone entries were extremely successful. So they didn't always dump and chase, but just mixing in some of the dump and chase, there was a lot more open lanes entering the zone. So
well, if they think about how you're going to enter the zone, then
exactly.
It's more likely that you can
exactly. It's not just an outlet pass to a winger. Yeah,
every time. Yeah.
So that was really, really good. I mean, it got started really on the right foot with an Andalorian goal, which was the first one from the point, right? And I wrote down more shots from distance because I noticed it a little bit. I think in the first game that he struggled a little bit with shots from further away, and I especially think about that weird angle Cameron Reed game winner that they just kind of threw on net. He's very a reactionary goalie. Like his reactions are incredible.
Oh yeah.
But I think maybe if he has a weakness, it's the positioning. So if he can't see it and it's from further away, there's more net than there is when you're closer to him or on a breakaway, as we've found out.
Saginaw has obviously pre-scouted the Rangers really well because they clog up those passing lanes in the high slot and in the low slot very well. So
they
all of a
collapse.
sudden there's a lot of bodies between the point and the goalie. So getting some of those through is a challenge.
They collapse. The Rangers do love that low circle side play, and that's just not there.
It's not available in this series.
It's just not there.
But now if they start shooting from the point, it could open up.
Yeah, and they had a power play in that first period, and I wrote the power play needs to create more chaos, and that's exactly when they were successful, was when they were taking shots from the point and creating chaos in front of Shurygin. It was a lot of kind of like figuring that out, I think, through the game. But yeah, and it's that low box that collapsing box that they're playing in the defensive zone, and it's just really successful against some of the things that the Rangers usually do. I think some of the Kirsch detractors will have a little bit more ammo in this one, but what I will say is he did have a couple of 10-bell saves that kind of nullified some of the easier. There's basically only 2 goals that I think I'd like to see him have back. It was a crazy assist in that first period that Klepov had, but Kirsch needs to keep that glove higher. I will say that has been one of his Achilles heels throughout the season.
Stop telling them.
Yeah. They know. They already know. If I know, they already know. But it was the same within the second period. You'd love to have that 5-hole goal back. However, like less than a minute later, he saves like one of his best saves of the game. So it's it's easy to say, well, let's look at the shots, but the quality of chances from that big line. And Kirsch being able to stop them. There were a couple of game-saving saves that he did make.
Let's pretend it's December 23rd and it's Festivus, and you have a list of grievances about the second period. Let's get into it.
Okay, but that double minor was Diricola. Ridiculous. He's already in the books going to the box, and yeah, he gets into it with the defenseman, but like, that happens a million times.
Yeah, they never.
I don't know why you're doubling up in the playoffs on that. It's because they're down 2-0 and they're the 8th seed. I don't believe it's anything else. There was a chance in the second period. Cameron Reed kind of had a chance. It wasn't so much a grievance, but like, you'd love to see him bury that there. It was kind of a 2-on-1 turned into a breakaway. But again, Shurygin is just so good. But it all culminates with a bad penalty at the end of the second where Woolley shoots it. And what I will say that Woolley shot it at the defenseman, and I guess they gave him a roughing call rather than unsportsmanlike. I don't know. Weird stuff.
Very
going
weird.
On with the...
There was a bunch of those weird calls where I was like, that's not
the call.
Like I'm like, sure, give him a penalty, but also get the call right.
But what I will give the Rangers their flowers big time on that double minor penalty kill. Woolley and Ando actually, like, I know I'm going to criticize Woolley again at some point in this. I think you are too. But Woolley and Ando were huge on that double minor. And I think Ando probably had one of his best games as a Ranger. It was very low key, but he was, I think, one of the best players on the Rangers tonight. And it was because they had no chances when he was on the ice. Like, he was a standout for me. And he had a takeaway on Barabanov down in the slot. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh man, that saved a goal on that power play. And we gotta take credit for Sam Bilecki's getting double-digit goals, because he didn't get them in the regular season, but he did get his 10th. Yeah, so that's 9 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs. So I'm taking credit on that.
And it was a beautiful shot too.
Oh yeah,
man. Whenever he doesn't get that many shots, but when he does it right.
Very selective.
I remember early in the season, I said, remember we were watching that Bilecki period, and we remember he had that, like, the light bulb came out above his head, and he just realized he could be a part of the play, and he's never let up. His confidence has just grown since. It's been so awesome. Back to your Ando point, all I wanted to say on that is just that anybody who was saying, why are we bringing Ando back? This is why, because Ando, he has that next level where he can fill in whatever he needs. This isn't the Ando that played last year. Like, he almost looks like a completely different player now than he did a year ago at this time. But it's because he knows what he needs to do, and he fills in the roles at the right times. And I mean, the goal off the top was beautiful, but he's not there to score goals. He's there to play hard defense against 2 of the top players in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he also had a beautiful pass from the high point to that cross ice down low to that circle play that they like to get to, and it didn't result in anything, but it was just such a silky smooth pass. The guy is just a more dynamic player this season.
Yeah, for sure.
There's less pressure, I think, in the sense of, like, he's not the captain, and he's got another towering, monstrous, aggressive defenseman playing on his opposite side. So I think it's just one of those, like, natural things where he can play a little bit looser. He doesn't necessarily always have to be that aggressive hitting presence. He can kind of pick and choose his spots, which he did get off a big body check in this one as well. But he can be a little bit more responsible, and I think that's when he's at his best, because he is a very good, responsible defenseman.
He does need to be more responsible, because Woolley went a little bit on the irresponsible side this time. So yeah, there was the shot at the end of the second period that should be a penalty, and then there was the, like, running, checking from behind, which also was a roughing penalty, I think, which I was like, okay.
Yeah, get him right in the numbers. That was weird, because he was back checking and the Saginaw player was turning at the exact time, but that's why you can't take a run at a guy that far away, because
Yeah.
there's too many variables there.
And he didn't hold up at all. Like when he turned, there, even if he had tried to hold up a little bit, he would have still hit him, but he wouldn't have hit him as like
Yeah. And I mean,
awkwardly as he did.
There was the third period, it started with a really good penalty kill from the Rangers, which was, important. And then there was a great opportunity, I thought, from Hayden Ellis, who I thought has looked really good in this series. He hasn't really factored in too much, but again, he's not playing a role necessarily where he has to do that, but he has been, I think, a positive player.
Yeah. Well, he got 4 shots. I mean, it's hard to talk about shots on the Rangers tonight when they got 54 shots, but he did get 4 shots tonight, so it's like
he did. I think, like the Woolley hit was really reckless, and it leads directly to the Klepov one-timer power play goal.
Yeah.
And again, like that's the one that I can't put on Kirsch, because it's a bad play that goes into a third period power play, and they're at home, and that's we both kind of thought, I think, at that moment that like this could be the one that gets away from them. The player that I really got to give props to, that I think is gone to a next level, not just Ando, is Gabriel Sherratt. He is a playoff player.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's a gamer, man. That goal to tie it up in the third, it couldn't be more clutch at that moment.
Desperately, and he's just like a physical along the boards player. I'm really excited because he didn't necessarily mesh right away. He didn't really explode offensively like Dylan Edwards or Sam O'Reilly has coming over. So it was kind of like, I was like, what does he bring in the playoffs? He's been completely like invaluable to the Rangers. He's just exactly what they need in that position. He's playing that third line wing. It's just like, it just brings another element of scoring and physical play. And then I don't know what you want to talk about overtime, because it was all Rangers.
It was all Rangers.
I don't even know.
Saginaw didn't even get it. They didn't even get a shot, I don't think, in the overtime.
They barely
nor
touched
even
the
a
puck.
look in the offensive zone.
They looked spent. It looked like they
have one line that they played for 40 minutes in the first 3 periods. Like there's you'd be dead.
You want to talk about the time on ice stat not being available. It's probably because of games like this, where see Klepov and Barabanov and Jilkin with like a 46-minute game.
We'll have to listen to Rangers talk tonight with Mike Farwell to learn how many minutes he was on. The only other thing I wanted to say was Dylan Edwards still snake bitten, even though I know he got 2 assists last game, but he got 11 shots and 10 were high danger in this game.
Still no goals.
20% of the shots in this insanely high scoring or high shooting game, Dylan Edwards did not score. I mean, dude's gonna put in 7 in one of these games at some point.
Yeah, because he's due to positively regress. Right?
Yeah,
I think Jack Pridham's
in the same boat. I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Exactly, and we got to give our boy Luca Romano props for depositing the overtime winner. And
I think I would have put him in this category of regression needing if he didn't score this goal. And man, clutch goal. Looked amazing.
And you know what? He did it first round last year in the playoffs as well. He loves the overtime winner.
He loves the pressure.
Bilecki with the shot, and the rebound goes to Romano, and he scores. And you know what? That's Bilecki had a great game.
Yep.
Romano needed that one, and they're up 3-0. And let's finish them off Thursday.
Yep.
Forget about coming back and playing Friday.
Nobody
finish them off.
Nobody wants to play on Friday. Everybody wants Friday off, so we're gonna win on Thursday in Saginaw. This is The Road to the Robertson, episode 3. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, all those things. See ya. Saginaw.